Watcher, beautiful Saturday morning here in Hertfordshire. Got a million jobs to do today. One of them is rehanging a wardrobe door. So I'm going to talk you through that. So this is one of the bedroom wardrobes. It's an Ikea unit, I think, that we bought many years ago, but when we moved it from one bedroom to another when we were decorating, the door fell off. We've got the two doors fitted, but one door on the side, as you can see, is missing. We have these holes here where the concealed hinge should be. We have one of them is here, the other one I have no idea where it is. Looked everywhere for it, couldn't find it. It's a bit like the sock in the washing machine. Okay, so yesterday I just popped out to get some of these screws. Screwfix were really unhelpful. They're in total lockdown with Corona still. Went to B&Q, the guy there couldn't have been more helpful. Really nice guy. One thing you have to be careful of when you buy these concealed hinges, they come in about four sizes, 26mm, I think it's 35 and 40mm, and that's the diameter of this hole. So what I did before I went, I just took my little small metal ruler, and that's a 26mm. So I went and got a pack, which I've already opened. Concealed hinge 26mm nickel plated quantity 2. Now, took these with me, and through the plastic, what you should be doing is you should be offering them up to each other just to make sure that they're the right size. There's slight differences, but all the screw holes marry up. You know, put those next to each other, make sure that they fit before you buy them. So what you don't want to be doing is coming home and finding you've got the wrong hinge and then a wasted journey. 26mm are pretty difficult to find actually, so well done for B&Q for stocking them. So the first thing to consider when you fit these hinges is the holes that they're coming out of, are the holes that they're coming out of too big? Have they been used many times? As you can see, this one's a little bit loose, but the hinge holes don't look too bad, the screw holes rather. So we just screw one of those in there. Yeah, these holes are holding up quite well. Sometimes what you need to do is you need to replace these screws with some larger screws, being careful that they're not too long. You don't want it to go through the wood to the other face. Now, I've measured these screws already, so I know we're fine. And that's it, we're good there. Hinge works, it's 110mm hinge, although realistically that's only a 90mm hinge. Turn this up the other way, put the other hinge on. It's quite blowy here today, quite windy. Now, I've noticed in my actual wardrobe that the hinges, the holes for the screws, I don't know what's wrong with my vocab today, the holes for the screws look like they've been torn out. So either the door fell off, or I've probably removed and put the screws in too many times. So we put the two screws on, the two hinges on. Before we start offering up the door, it's worth noting that these doors aren't designed to sit on top of the drawers. Otherwise, every time you'd open the door, you'd open the drawer as well. You have to hang in the air. So when you are fitting the door, you need to hold it in the air. Obviously, when you're trying to hold a door up, put a screw in and screw it in, it's difficult. So I just use these wedges. If you fit a wedge on the edge there, and it's adjustable, that will just help you lift it up in the air. That's a pro tip there. And if you don't have wedges, you can always use a screwdriver, a thin screwdriver, tapered at one end, gets thicker as you go up towards the handle. Just push that in until it gets to the right height, you'll be okay. But another pro tip here is when you're trying to offer these doors up, don't lift the doors into position and then try and get the screws into the hole. You need to get the screws into the hinge, screwed in so they're sitting there in place before you start offering the door up, because it's quite heavy and it's cumbersome. You just want to get this job done here. Now, looking at these screws, you can see these are probably M6s, but the holes here are for M4s, which suits me because I need the wider M6 to go through the hole that's already been damaged. So what I'll do is I'll just get the drill and I'll drill out this hinge a little bit to accept the M6, and that should go through nicely. this one. Also a drill press or something like that, so this will be a lot easier. Just cack-handed, as most things are in my workshop. It may be cack-handed, but it's done the job. And work. And let's do the other one. So we're all ready. We've got the screwdriver in the hand. The hinge has got the screw in it. The screw is going to be put in the right position. One downstairs is in the right position. We're going to pick it up. It's going to be difficult one-handed. And balance it on the packer. And we're going to put this on the camera, on the tripod. Now we balance this on the packer again, and it's slipped off. Now, when you're doing this on your own, you might find this sort of thing happens again. You might pick the packer up a dozen times, but persist. Oh, it's in the right place now. Like that. Now it's important you put the top screw in first, because the weight will be coming on the top. If you put the bottom screw in first, anything that happens, it won't. How can I put this? If it's going to unbalance, it's going to unbalance from the top, isn't it? Not from the bottom. You can put a bottom screw in, and it can rip the bottom screw out as the top unbalances. I'll remove the packing piece. And put the bottom screws in. So it's important that we do. Right, I've tightened this one up too much. Now that means I'm struggling to get the bottom one in. So if that situation happens, loosen off the one you put in and pull it out. Should leave a little bit more space to put the second screw in. If that doesn't work, take the first screw out, put the awkward screw in first. So in this case it would have been the bottom one, and I'll put the top screw back in again. See, these are, as I say, M6 screws, and because the holes which were M4 were wider, it wouldn't go in. Okay, so you can see the big gap between the two wardrobes better. We'll take this from a distance. We've also got a gap at the end of the wardrobe between the door and the wardrobe, and you can fit a screwdriver down there. So essentially the left door needs to go to the right, and then the two doors on the right both need to go to the left. We'll start with the left one. I'll show you how you do this. You've got four screws, well, you've got a number of screws. This one and this one stay as they are. It just keeps it in position. It keeps the door hung. This one and this one stay as they are. This one here, if you loosen this off, you can slide the door backwards and forwards. Now if I do that one as far as it will go, that should hopefully reduce the gap between the door and the frame that you saw when I looked on the side. I can do the same at the bottom. This one here will push the hinge backwards and forwards. Now we want it to come this way, so I'm going to loosen this one off and then push this one in, so tighten it to the right, which will push this hinge this way and move the door over. That's the idea anyway. Let's have a look, so I can show you it in practice. Sorry, looking a bit better. not quite level at the bottom here, so we've got this one's got to come out a bit more. Now that looks better to me. What do you think, eh? Let's take this out and have a look. Looks fairly uniform all the way down. It's at a different height up the top, but I can't do anything about that because in here, this is the loosening screw, this is the screw that moves it backwards and forwards. Both of these work. At the bottom, the screw that moves it backwards and forwards works. This one is stuck and I've got the wrong screwdriver, so I'll adjust that later on. But for the purposes of showing you, thanks for joining me on a video today. I think we've learned two things, haven't we, today? One, that when you get a contractor around and he gives you a quote and you think to yourself, it's only a 5-minute job. Well, today proved that those 5-minute jobs can turn into 2 or 3 hour jobs. What should have been a 5-minute job, going up, putting a hinge on, putting some 4 screws in, lining up the door, adjusting it a little bit and leaving it, turned into about a 2 or 3 hour job because I had to look for bits and pieces, couldn't find them, looked for another box of screws, couldn't find them, drove to B&Q, looked all around there, I didn't have anything, came back, eventually found some other bits and pieces from scraps which could fit it, and that's a lesson in itself. When you're throwing away things like wardrobes, don't throw away the hinges, always keep them because they always come in handy. And the second lesson is, you don't need lots and lots of expensive tools to get the job done. Yes, if I'd have had a drill press, it'd have been a lot easier, but I didn't. And you know, what happened today is reality. You know, it's not working on a building site, it's someone just trying to fix things at home with basic tools, a screwdriver, a hammer, you know, a flat head of Phillips, whatever you've got, you know, making up a makeshift trestle or saw horse in order to hold the wardrobe door while you're drilling something in. It's, you know, it's not ideal, but that's the way of the world. So again, thanks very much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. See ya. A little bit of a teaser for an upcoming project I'm going to be doing. Barbecue refurbishment. Stay tuned.